Okay, it says I'm live, and I will keep my piano playing from Be Thou My Vision, recorded earlier. I can keep it playing. That's a wonderful song from Colossians 1, that our vision should be on the Lord. But I don't want to make this 100% faith-based, but it is faith-based because of my husband's change of heart. He was agnostic, bordering on atheism, until he was in college. And then he studied about the Krebs cycle, and he says, wow, the Krebs cycle is the food to energy. And where he learned that our bodies had to have been created because of the irreducible complexity. And then later on, years later, he learned about the flagellum motor. If you look at that, it's a 42-part cell. It looks just like an outboard motor. Those are different cells that are in our intestine that had to have been created, because there's no way it could have just happened chance. My husband wrote this to my sister's daughter, who is battling the worst kind of cancer you can have. She has colon cancer. And it's spread. Over 2/3 of her liver is deceased. So it doesn't look good. And my sister said she went from, the Lord is going to heal her, the Lord is going to heal her. Now she's saying, a mother should never have to bury their child. And she's terrified. And my niece went to go for more chemotherapy down in Mexico. Hopefully this will work. It's not anything crazy, but it's not approved here in the United States to treat cancer, the type of cancer she has. But it is approved for different types of cancers. But they just won't approve it for use in the United States. Anyway, my husband has been dealing with oral cancer since 1985. We just moved here from San Diego area. We lived in Ramona, and we moved here Christmas Eve 1984. And then in July, all our world came crashing down, and Larry was diagnosed with deadly oral cancer. Now, this was the same year that Reader's Digest came out with the magazine or article, Sean, the 15-year-old that had oral cancer, and he died. His face was all swollen, but he got it from chewing tobacco. Now, mind you, my husband doesn't smoke, drink, chew, touch tobacco or alcohol. And because of that, the doctor that he was seeing, our regular doctor, was on vacation. And this doctor that took over, horrible doctor, horrible, wicked man. And yeah, we've let him know how horrible he was, because he told my husband that there was nothing wrong. He bit himself and stopped worrying. And my husband said, no, I didn't bite myself. There's something growing from the inside out, inside my tongue out. He says, look, I'm a doctor, you're not. But my husband knew that it wasn't something, but he had to go to technical class in Chicago. And then on the way back, he was going to stop in Montana and visit his grandma and his mom, who he hadn't seen in some time. So he was gone for 3 weeks, and then when he came back, that little rice-sized thing that was hurting was now the size of a small grape. It was a T4 tumor. It was squamous cell carcinoma. That doctor was wrong. So when our regular doctor got back, our world changed in just hours. Larry was on an operating table, and I was being told that I most likely would lose my husband within 5 years if he lived that long, and most patients don't. I'd worked at the hospital long enough a couple months, and I saw several of Dr. McDonald's, ear, nose, and throat doctor. Had a few oral cancer patients, and I thought, oh, what a horrible, horrible way to die. And they died. So I knew this was a horrible, horrible death sentence that Larry was facing. He knew too. His uncle, Larry's uncle, was a teacher up at OHSU. He was a doctor, and so he arranged for Larry to have the best doctors he could find. But they told me, Cheryl, this is not good. I've never seen anybody survive this type of cancer, especially when it was let go for so long. They were going to take Larry's jaw, his neck, muscles, all the lymph nodes, and they were going to disfigure him. And Larry said, no, don't do that to me. I'd rather die. So he told the doctor no. But the doctor says, Larry, I can't give you surgery. If you let me take your jaw, he says, I get a better chance. So Larry says, okay, you can take my jaw if you believe that you can save my life. It was a 6 to 8 hour surgery with a lot of units of blood. So Larry did the autologous. Auto means self. Ologous is he was going to make his own, donate his own blood. So he got himself 4 units of blood before his surgery. And in between times, he was having biopsies and getting ready for the surgery. I was just terrified. I couldn't believe how horrible things had changed and how quickly. We went from moving here from Ramona, California to Beaver Creek, Oregon. And we'd wanted for 14 years to move up here. And finally the Lord opened the door. Or maybe he didn't, I don't know. Because all our friends were behind. And most of our family. So we were alone except for Larry's uncle and his cousins that he really wasn't close with, because Larry's dad and brother had no relationship at all. Oh, these family dynamics are horrible. Isn't it beautiful here? My husband wrote to Tracy to encourage her. Dearest T, your mom shared with me about the battle that you're fighting with cancer and your trip to Mexico to get help. I've faced similar life-threatening battles with cancer over the years, and I've learned some valuable lessons that can help give you advice, additional hope, strength, and courage. In a nutshell, I learned the following 4 steps. Number 1, allow yourself to look ahead in time, no further than your comfort level. If the next day looks terrible, limit your vision to today. If something looks really terrible in the next few hours, limit your thoughts to the next few minutes. I have all too often had to limit my vision to the here and right now. And I remember Larry was just terrified because he didn't want to wake up off the offering table and be disfigured. Thank God they left his jaw, because he said if he had 1 millimeter of clearance, he wouldn't take his jaw. So his surgery was only 6 hours, where they removed half his tongue. And actually it grew back, and he looked normal and he talked normal, but then he had radiation. It's number 2 of the 4 steps. You are the final decision maker. There's safety, comfort, and encouragement in having many others love you and are trying to help you. However, you are the only person who will have to live with the results of your decision. When I had to make life or death decisions that would impact only me, I had to shut off all the voices and opinions pressuring me from all sides, and make the best possible decision and take personal responsibility for where it might lead. Third, get angry. When my life and survival was being challenged the most, my first reaction was to crumble emotionally and accept loss. Despair and defeat were on my doorstep as my life was threatened over and over again. It's kind of windy. I finally figured out that fighting back was a far superior option. It was okay to get mad about my condition, leave defeat behind, and get ticked off. That surprised those around me who tended to go around struck with grief and sorrow in the world. Here's a little more about my situation. Soon after we moved from San Diego area to the Portland area, I got tongue cancer. I had surgery and 3 months of heavy-duty radiation. And boy, I tell you, his mouth was burned. I thought for sure I was going to die a horrible, slow death. All kinds of people came out of the woodwork telling me that I must follow their cure or face the consequences. Looking back, I would have died many years ago had I followed their strong advice. I had to make my own decisions, and thanks to God, I'm still here today to talk about it. My first surgery and radiation was just the beginning of my cancer journey 38 years ago. Over the last 3 decades, the tongue cancer has come back many times. I have had 6 major surgeries and nearly died several more times from lingual artery explosions and radiation side effects. And they ultimately cut out half of my tongue 6 years ago. So now I gag on my food a lot every day, and my ability to speak clearly is difficult. However, I praise our Lord and Savior every day for the gift of life and how He is able to use me. For instance, this last week I preached a sermon at church, and he did really well. He was understandable. Everybody knows that he has difficulty speaking. He says, get angry at your cancer and put your total trust in our Creator, Jesus. God has an awesome plan for you. God bless you and heal you every day. Much love, Uncle Larry. So that is his advice, is to trust God. Put your trust in a higher power. I'll put But you don't have to trust in a God. Some people are atheists or they're agnostic. They don't believe like we do. And that's okay. God understands. He knows each one of us. And our God may not be the same God that people thought of years ago, like the Indians. How about the Indians? They had no Bible. And is God going to damn them to hell because they didn't accept Jesus? They didn't even know who Jesus was. There was no way. So there's going to be a lot of surprises when we get to heaven. Anyway, thank you for stopping by. And if you have any questions, if you want to speak to my husband, send us an email. You can leave me I'm Zelda at RConnects. And you can send me an email. I'll put that here. Let's see, in the chat. Let's see. Buddha, namaste. Hi, good evening. You're listening. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Let's see. I can't see chat. I'm sorry. Live chat. Put your entire faith and surrender to Him. Trust in the Lord. That's all we can do. Turn it to a higher power. We had 2 exchange students here. One believed in, Hindu. She was Hindu. And that's all she knows. But she was a good girl, really sweet. And I know some Christians who are just monsters. God knows our heart. And that's how we'll be saved, is the way we treat other people. Anyway, thank you so much for coming. I'm going to close for now, but that's Zelda at RConnects. Let me see if I can put that. Let's see. Live chat. I don't know how I can put it in. This is my new phone and I don't know how to use it. Anyway, it's Zelda, ZELDA at RConnects. RCONNECT as in Tom, S as in Sam.com. Anyway, thank you so much for coming. God bless you. And may you have His peace and have a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday.